Hello everyone and welcome to today's Techtalk web-based data analytics using insights for ArcGIS. I'm Janki Gattu, a certified GIS professional from ESRA and URISA, working with Geosys Enterprise Solutions, which is an ISO 9001 and 2015 certified organization. And Geosys is also an ISRI partner company. In this organization, as a manager, my job role would be assisting the clients with various small startups to large multinational organizations, and I have been serving various public and private limited organizations in delivering hands-on trainings, workshops, and tech talks. And I'm also responsible for assisting the clients in preparing the basic data creation to extensive FGIS implementations. So let's get started with our today's Tech Talk, web-based data analytics using insights for ArcGIS. And the main agenda for today is we will learn how we can use insights for ArcGIS, how we can create different workbooks, and how we can create different pages within a workbook, and in each page how we can create various kinds of cards. And each card can have different kinds of analysis or different kinds of representation of the data, either in the form of maps, charts, or in the form of tables. And here on the fly in Insights for ArcGIS, you can also filter the data and you can actually present your required output to the end users. And today in this Tech Talk, we are going to learn about how we can discover the power of exploratory analysis. And we are also going to combine our analysis with the visualization on the cards. And we can help the decision makers to create impactful decisions by learning how to create this insights on the cards and how to present the data to the clients and how to share and collaborate the data with the stakeholders. And the main goal of today's Tech Talk is to enable the general public to help them understand the geospatial technology in a more engaged and informed way, so as to help them to understand why and how geography is important and why maps are more relevant and are powerful in today's generation. So the agenda for today is, like I have introduced myself as a presenter, and the next 5 minutes would be about the introduction of the participants who has joined with me today, both online and offline, and then followed by an introduction to the concept web-based data analytics using insights for ArcGIS, where we will learn how to analyze the data, connect your data directly, and how to represent the data in the form of maps, charts, and tables, and perform various kinds of basic analysis to complex analysis. And followed by 30 minutes of demonstration on web-based data analytics using insights for ArcGIS. And the last 5 minutes, we would love to hear from you, your feedback, so that we can evaluate the Tech Talk effectiveness. And after this webinar, we will help you out with a recorded version of this Tech Talk. And then after the Tech Talk demonstration, we would love to hear all your queries and we'll try our best to answer all your queries. And for those of you who are just joining me both online and offline for today's Tech Talk, please welcome to today's Tech Talk. Let's get started with our insights for ArcGIS. So what is this insights for ArcGIS? Basically, this insights for ArcGIS is a part of the ISRI Geospatial Cloud. And this is a web-based application which will help us to perform various kinds of data analytics, and you can perform various kinds of analysis, right from simple analysis to complex analysis using location intelligence. And we can answer a lot of questions which we were not able to find that out when it is maintained as a system of record. And we can analyze the data completely and we can tell powerful data stories to our stakeholders. So all we need to do is we need to connect our data directly, and then we have to use our maps, charts, and tables and perform various kinds of analysis based on the skill level as well as our business. And how to explore a new world of our data and GIS, because we are going to perform various kinds of analysis and we are going to find out the patterns of the data, and we are also going to find out the connection between the cards, because we can actually link the cards and we can also make the cards more responsive. And we will create insights for ArcGIS board where it will help the decision makers to really make quick decisions out of it. And how powerful this Insights for ArcGIS is. All you need to do is you need to go to Insights for ArcGIS and then log in with your ArcGIS online organizational credentials. And then you can create a workbook and then the number of pages, and in each page you can create various kinds of graphs or maps. And all you need to do is you just need to drag and drop your fields to create this data and to present this data in a more intuitive and in a more compelling way. And when you present the data, you can get answers to various kinds of queries which are not answered when the data is maintained as a system of record. And once you present the data in the form of plots, every decision maker will make use of the data that is presented on the insights, and they can actually add value to the data by taking right decisions at the right time. So we can join spatial data and attribute data because we are able to directly connect to the data here, and we can make better decisions out of our analysis. And here we can slice the data, we can dice the data, we can visualize, and we can also analyze the data, where it will help us to find out the patterns of the data, to find the trends in the data, and to correlate between different variables, and to also find out the relationship between the variables, and to perform various kinds of simple analysis to advanced analysis. Repeat analysis workflow. Repeat analysis workflow will help us to understand the data and to establish a consistency among our data in helping our decision makers to really understand what that data is and how they can really move the data from system of record to system of engagement by making and answering a lot of questions in a very quick and easy way by saving the time and effort. Later on, once you create and present all your data on the insights, you can actually share this data to various groups if you are interested in, or you can restrict the data to yourself, or you can share the data entirely to the public. We can also create reports that uses text, links, images, videos, and we can also do the branding here. So how Insights for ArcGIS works? Let's bring in the data first, and then once we have the data, let's jot down some questions what we would like to get answers for. And then once we have all the questions, we can present the data in a more compelling way where people will understand the answers from the questions they have asked for. So when we are bringing in the data, first thing is, how do we connect to the data? Here we are going to connect to our data directly, and all you need to do is drag and drop the fields here and the feature classes here, so it will form a card, and this card will help us to visualize the data. And once you have the data, you can make queries and you can get the answers out of your queries. You can make simple decisions to complex decisions where you can use the right tools at the right time, and you can perform various kinds of analysis depending on your business scenario. So here, when we are presenting this data to the stakeholders, the communication is very clear because everything is result oriented, because whatever the questions they ask, you can represent the data in a visualization manner where it will really help them to take quick decisions at the right time. And we can build various kinds of interactive story maps as well. And so with what all these insights work with? So insights will work with either with your feature layers or with your spreadsheets or your geodatabase files, or it can be any business database. That can be a transactional geodatabase, or that can be a historical database, or that can be a real-time database even. So once you start adding your data from a different Excels, each and everything will be taken as a separate data set by default. And then each data set can be treated separately, where you can add the data from each one of your data sets to the insights. And then here we can actually work with attributes. We can also work with different kinds of spatial relationships. So what are the different kinds of elements that our Insights for ArcGIS has? So it has various kinds of elements on the data part, spatial analysis part, and various other geo-enrichment part as well. So in spatial analysis, what you can generally do, you can filter out the data spatially because you have a spatial filter available with you as a tool. And you can work on with different kinds of spatial joins, and you can find nearby what is nearby to your location. And we can perform various kinds of data analysis where we can filter out the data, we can perform various kinds of field calculations, we can summarize our data, we can join various kinds of attributes, we can make queries, and we can present the data. So once you start preparing your data and then adding the data to your cards, so how do you visualize? So there are different ways to visualize your data. So you can visualize the data either in the form of a map, chart, or in the form of a table. So if you see here, I have a map, and from this, like if you want to link, you can link the data to the other cards as well. And here you have different kinds of graphs, a line graph, a bar graph, and then you have a donut graph, and then you have a tabular format. So you can present the data in the best format that you like in the form of a card. And once you prepare this data as a workbook page or as a card, you can share the data either to your group whom you wanted to share this data with, or you can make the data available publicly. So Insights is a capability within ArcGIS. So what it can have as a common pattern, first thing is, obviously you have to create data for your maps, and then the first part of any ArcGIS platform product is to visualize the data. And then you should know how to manage your data. And then once you are sharing the data on the web, you need to know how you manage the data on the web, and you should have the managing capability and enabling capability of the mobile workforce to collect the data from the field. And you can also perform various kinds of monitoring operations. And once you monitor, you can draw a lot of analytics out of it, where you can discover your data, which is maintained as a system of record earlier. And now you can quantify the data, you can do the cross filtering, you can filter out the data and present the data, you can predict the trends, you can find the patterns, you can have a correlationship, you can find a spatial relationship among your data, based on which you can do your planning and propose alternative solutions depending on your business needs. So once you propose, it is up to the decision makers how they are actually seeing the data and what kind of decisions would they like to take. And then you can go ahead with the constituent managing engagement, and then you can share the data and collaborate the data with other groups or other users. So what this Insights for ArcGIS data is, how you can access it. So you can access Insights for ArcGIS anywhere. Why? Because it is a cloud platform application where you just need an ArcGIS online organization credentials and a good internet connection, where you'll be able to open your insights and where you'll be able to take the data from various kinds of inputs. That can be a spreadsheet, that can be a spatial data, that can be a database, that can be a cloud, or that can be your big data as well. So here we can prepare our data, we can enable the location for our data, we can perform various kinds of statistical analysis, we can share our results depending on our requirement. So when you're preparing data, especially when you are working with Insights, you need to know how you have to format your fields, how you can calculate new fields, how you can get new data from the existing data, and how you find the addresses of a location by geo-enablement, how you visualize the data either in the map, chart, or in the form of a table, how you can do dynamic selection, how you can make cross-filter applications. And you can also perform various kinds of statistical analysis like descriptive analysis, link analysis, regression analysis, exploratory analysis, and how you're going to present your data and how you're going to find out how your data is distributed. How was it related? What is nearby to my location? How can I change? So all these kinds of spatial analysis you can do in Insights for ArcGIS, and then you can record the data and you can do repeat analysis based on your requirements. Once you're satisfied with your data and with your presentation that is there on the Insights for ArcGIS, you can share your results with your respective groups or with different individuals or to everyone who can make the data available publicly. So here in Insights for ArcGIS, it mainly highlights on exploratory analysis as I told you earlier, And we use this to find out the core capabilities of ArcGIS. And we go beyond the basic mapping and we present the data in a more compelling way to understand the true potential and power of ArcGIS in the spatial analysis. So we start with the questions and we find out answers and we present those answers in the form of cards. So let's deep dive into our demonstration for web-based data analytics using ArcGIS. So here I'm opening ArcGIS Pro, and in this ArcGIS Pro I have created various kinds of data here. If you see, this is my base map, which is a topographic mesh map on which I have taken San Francisco as my area of interest, and then I have generated crime blocks. So each polygon is considered as a crime block, and you have various kinds of attributes available for it. And in this crime block, I would like to find out how many car thefts has happened from January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. So when I have plotted, can you see all the list of cars that has been here? And when you click on it, it will show you what is the X and Y coordinated which that theft has occurred and what is the category of the vehicle. So on which date it was recorded. So you'll be able to find out all this information. And then similarly, I have taken the drug cases, robbery cases, and vandalism cases. I have this data, and this is all like the green ones which you are seeing are like San Francisco drugs. Maybe I will make it a little smaller in size as it is completely occupied. So click on apply. So I can also make this car theft cases also maybe a little smaller in size. So you have like car theft and you have the San Francisco drug cases which we have mapped here. And in the same fashion, I would also like to see the robbery cases that has been registered. So I'm again right clicking and clicking on it, and I have a different symbology altogether. So I'm going to my gallery, generic one rather, and these are the like robbery cases which has been registered. So if you want to change the color and all, you can change the color. So maybe I'll make this so here I'm going to make this as 10, enter, apply. So this is how my information is as of now. I have the robbery cases, drug cases, and the car theft cases. And maybe like I would also like to see like what kind of vandalism cases are been registered in San Francisco. So I'm clicking here, and maybe I will take a blue color, and I will give the size a bit more so that I can actually see. Maybe I want to take the same thing, but thing is I would like to have a different shade out of it. So click on apply. So I have this vandalism cases, and if you want to check the attributes of it, so right click and see the attribute information of it. So you can see at which XY location we have this data, and what is the incident number, which is a unique number which has been given for all these cases, and under which category this crime will come, and what is the description, because what kind of vandalism case is it, and on which day, on which date, which time, at which district the a case has been registered, and you can see all that information here. So if you right click and see the robbery also, it's almost the same attributes which we will have. Even the drug cases also will have the same list of attributes, and even the car theft cases also. So I have posted these feature layers on my ArcGIS organizational account, and if you see here, I have 1 crime blocks, 2 car theft, 3 drugs, 4 robbery cases, and 5th vandalism cases, which I have already posted in my ArcGIS organizational credentials here. So now I have the data which is available with me. So now I have to move on to insights for ArcGIS for creating various kinds of visualization cards in a more compelling and intuitive way for the decision makers to make quick decisions out of it. So if you see here, I have an app launcher in my ArcGIS online organizational account. When I click on this, I have a icon called Insights for ArcGIS. So once I click on that, so it will take me to my Insights for ArcGIS account. So as I have already logged into my ArcGIS online organizational account, it directly signs me into my Insights. And if you see here, there is only one workbook, because if you create a lot of insights for every project, so you'll have all the list of workbooks which has been displayed here. So if you want to edit that workbook, yes, you can edit the workbook and you can give a description if you like. If you don't want, you can cancel it. And here you have like a duplicate. Maybe I want to use the same workbook but change the data with different formats. Yes, I can do that. Or if you want to completely delete it, yes, you can press on delete and then you can actually delete your data. Let's see what is basically in here in this workbook and what data we have here. So once we had a quick glance, I will deep dive into our insights and we will actually create our data. So if you see here, there are various kinds of cards. Basically, in my workbook name is Janki 360. If I wanted to change, I can change it as per my project name. And here I have just created two pages, page one card theft and page two card theft copy. If I want to duplicate that pages, I can click there and I can duplicate it. If I want, I can actually drag and drop the cards depending on my requirement needs. And you can create as many pages as you like. And here if I wanted to change the characteristics, chart characteristics, I can actually see that the mean, median data, or the upper quartile and lower quartile data. So I can have all this information which has been created, and I can also create various kinds of widgets. I can also add a new data from my ArcGIS organizational account, online account. So I can take the data from the groups which I already have or which I have been enrolled in other groups. If I have been given privileges to see the data and use the data, yes, I can do that. Or you can browse the data from your living atlas and you can use the data. Or you can just get the boundaries. If it is like US and for the other countries, most of the countries, you will get the boundaries. Or you can import the data from the Excel or CSV, as I already told you. Or you can take the data which are more relevant for us, and we can model the data either based on the content that we create or from the groups which we created or which we have already enrolled in. And we can take the data from our own ArcGIS online organizational account if it is there. And then we can also select the theme if it is required and select the data and click on add, so that the data will get added up here. So this is a brief overview of this insights for ArcGIS. So what I can do now is I will just go back to my home page, my workbooks. I don't want to make any changes. So this is the first screen, as in when I log into my insights, I will be getting it. So my intention is now to create a new workbook for us. So I'm going to create a new workbook. And I would like to take the data from my group, because I have shared all the 4 feature layers like crime blocks, drugs, car thefts, so vandalism, robbery cases. So all that I have added it to my insights group, because today we are dealing with insights. So if you see here, these are the 4 different feature layers which we have posted in our ArcGIS online organizational account. Since these are the 4 different feature classes which we have. So what would you like to see? You would like to see crime blocks, then you can click on here and click on add. So if I wanted to see drugs also, I can add the drugs, and then on top of it, if I want to see car thefts, I can see. If I want to see robbery cases, I can see it. But if I don't want to use them, I can close each one of this selected data. But as of now, I have selected the complete data which I have posted in my ArcGIS online organizational account, and then I'm clicking on add. If you see here, I just clicked on add, and it is loading all the data in the form of different cards. But I did not create any card as of now. It is creating automatically, and if you see here, all the data has been added up. So this is the crime block data which we have seen earlier. So if you want to change it, yes, you can click on that and you can change the style that you wanted. Maybe you wanted a different color. Yes, you can select that color and you can change that. If you see here, maybe you don't want an outline color, you can remove it, or maybe you want some uh, yellow color to be highlighted, so you can use that yellow highlighted color here. If you want to set some transparency and all, yes, in the styles you can set some transparency. Maybe I don't want it to be more darker in color, I want to set some transparency for my data. So at the background, whatever the information I have, I should be able to read the text. So maybe I can set the transparency on a little higher extent depending on my requirement. So, and these are the different options as to how are you going to uh, style this based on the shape, or if you want to style it based on the state. So then maybe each and every thing you can give it as a unique symbol, or you can give it as a single symbol. So it actually depends on how we want our data to be presented. So I'm, as for now, as a we are using it based on the shape itself, and then we can have a pop-up that can be popped. So if you want, so it is showing like what is the ID of this, and this is our total number of crime blocks which are available. 579 crime blocks are available here. So this is my data. So if you want, you can actually rename the card to crime blocks data, crime blocks data of San Francisco. So this is one data which I have, and this is the drugs data in San Francisco that has been registered. And if you see here, these are all like the robbery cases, robbery data in SFO. And maybe I want to see the car thefts information, so I can give that car theft information, theft data in SFO. Maybe I want to change the symbology of the car theft, so I can click here, I can go to the style, and I can change the symbology, I can change the colors if I require. So I'm going here. Maybe the fill color, I don't want this, so maybe I need a different color. Maybe the point size I want it to be very less. Yeah, maybe I can take up to 10, so I can see the data. And if you want transparency, you can maintain transparency. So the total number of records which I have in car theft in San Francisco is 3000. 384, and I can click on this to see the legend information, and I'm clicking on OK action button. So if I want to perform any kind of analysis, we always told about web-based data analytics. So this is how you perform data analytics. So as this is point, I can always see the density of the points, or I can filter it out based on the cases. So the layer here is car theft in San Francisco. So with what I wanted to filter, so if I wanted to filter out something, I can take this, and I wanted to find out like which points doesn't intersect or which points contain some information. Yes, you can filter out the data depending on your requirement. So this is basically my theft data, car theft data which I have. So let me come back, and so robbery cases which has been registered in San Francisco, maybe I will change this symbology to maybe I will take like the same 10, or maybe here I might take something in blue for the robbery cases. Maybe something in gray seems to be okay for me, so let me put that. Okay, these are the robbery cases that has been registered. And if I want a pop-up, yes, I can have a pop-up. And then I have this drug cases registered. Again, I'm going here, making it to 10, and then so I have changed the symbology to blue color. So if now I have all these different symbologies here, maybe I want the symbology uh, here to be changed, not as a format like this. Maybe I wanted to present the data in a different format, because here I have this location single symbol. Maybe I want it as a bin map, so I can click here, so and I will get a bin map here. So maybe I want it as the low resolution, very low resolution I can take, or maybe very high resolution. So it will give me the required information. So the transition value will move from 1 point to like 17,000, 7,379. So that I'm doing it by shape. If I want to do it by incident number, yes, I can do that. And if I want the sum value, I can do the sum value, minimum value, based on the minimum value of the incidents that happened in each and every location. If I want to see, I can actually see. So where you're seeing darker colors are the areas where there are more number of robbery cases registered, the dark ones. And if you see here, how many cases have been registered and how many cases have not been registered. If you want, you can change that. So this is a different way of representation of your data. So maybe I will go back. This is how the incidents. So these many incidents has been registered in a particular area. So as and when your value is increasing, your color is increasing, means that is the place where you have like more number of crimes. So maybe I can make it a little thicker. Okay, and I can also choose my own color palette depending on the requirement if I don't like the color pattern which I have. So obviously, like I wanted to find out the uh, places where there are more number of incidents that has been occurring. So let me put it this way for now, and then click on OK. And maybe if you want to filter out the data, so the way which you are seeing the data, so click here, and this is how like how many cases that has been there in the incident numbers. So you can see these many cases have been registered as the robbery cases, and these are the number of records which we have in place. Similarly, maybe like I will open this crime block information. I want to map it by tract. Let us suppose I can just drag and drop, and I wanted to see whether I want to see a map or I wanted to see a chat. When I click on chat, it will ask me what information does it require. So I'm seeing the count of crime blocks against the tracks. But if I want to filter it out, maybe I wanted to see it based on county wise. So you can see based on the county wise or based on the state wise, because it is completely one state. Obviously, you will have only one record, state 6, and count of crime blocks is 579. Maybe in this state you can filter it out also based on the tract. So you can see here, and you will get the required information. So I don't want to subdivide it so badly, so what I'll do is I'll go by the county wise. Even then you will have a differentiation here. And then this is one way of representing the data. So maybe I want to find out the vandalism cases. So I'm actually putting it in the chart, and I wanted to see in the form of a histogram. If you see here, like I have the 0 to 11 interval, and frequency is like 505 cases have been registered. And maybe I want to use this for robbery, so I can change it robbery here on the fly, and you can create a different data card. And if you want like the card settings to be done, you can, maybe I want it the background to be like this. So it actually depends on how you actually want your data to be presented. So you want a border style, so maybe you can have a color for your data. So here, if you want to rename the data, the frequency of the robberies in San Francisco, robbery frequency in SFO. So if I want, I can make that. So this is a different form of representing the data. So the count of crime blocks as per the state and county. So I can give here crime block count by state, or I can actually change this if I don't want. I just want the population to be mapped, and I want to take it based on the tract. So again, I will have a lot of information popping up. So you can see, because I asked for the sum of the population across each and every county and tract, so it is giving me what is the county ID, what is the tract ID, and what is the sum of the population in that tract. So you are able to see like how it is more intuitive to actually see the data. And as I have linked up the data, if you see here, the moment I clicked on some county here, the value is keeping on changing here, and if you see, that particular crime block is being showed up here. And in the similar fashion, I want all the data, so I can put the data this way, and then so I have a bar chart, and then I have this one. So maybe I want to present the data in a more aesthetic way. So let me come here, and maybe like I want to take the car theft by month. So once I click on here, once I click on the table, so it will give me the insights if I wanted based on the year. Maybe if I want the data to be populated, so I'm clicking here based on the day of the week I want that data to be populated. I can actually change this symbology or the representation not with the date and year, but based on the category. And I can make like based on the incident numbers. So I want the symbology to be changed, and maybe I would like to go for like different number of classes. I can click here, and if you see here, based on the number of incidents that has occurred based on the count, symbology is being changing. So maybe I want it in a different color, so I can take it all together in a different color. So the size varies depending on the requirement which we have. Let me click here. Let me go to the category and load the data. So I can see the count of drugs that has been taken place. So if you want, based on a certain category, you can actually drill it down. Maybe based on the date and year, like I want the cases to be registered, or based on the year, maybe. So I can actually see the data in 2012 or the time, and the number of drug cases that has been registered is 3897, and this is the maximum limit which it is showing out. And if you want to maximize, you can click on this maximize. So if you want to filter it out, you can filter it out based on the card. So I want to filter it out based on the uh, date of the year. So I have only 2012, so I don't have any other option here. But the count of trucks, so what I will do is I'll go to the category. And here also I have only one category. Maybe I'll go day of the week. And not in all days, but I just wanted to say, like on Friday, day of the week, how many cases, drug cases has been registered. So I can see the maximum number of drug cases that has been registered was 591. So if I want to add the other filter also, I can add the filter, maybe date by quarter. So in a given year, I'll be having like 4 quarters, but now I have the data for quarter 3 and quarter 4. Maybe I would like to see the data only for quarter 3, so I can see here. So if I want, I can actually make a note of it. If you want to remove the filters, yes, you can remove the filter. If you want to make a selection, yes, you can make a selection for the data. So as and when I'm selecting here, if you see here, the drug data has been changing here because there is a link for the data which I'm clicking here. Maybe if I click the data here, accordingly the data will also get changed. So here I did not, this is my page 1 and this is my untitled workflow. So I will give the name as Insights Demo as my workbook name. And in the page 1, maybe I will write the San Francisco crime data. So if I want one page, I can add. If I want to duplicate, click here and duplicate this. So I will get the same information. And later on, like if you don't want this data to be here, so you can remove it. You can actually use this data and you can change as per your requirements. Maybe I'll take this crime block data here as one data card. And based on the population, I want the data to be displayed. So maybe here I have the population, and I can see the census area. If I want, I can see it based on the census area. But if I wanted to see the vandalism cases, yes, I can change here and I can change the value here. And maybe if you don't want this, yes, you can remove. If you don't want this, you can remove it. So it actually depends on how you wanted your data to be available. If you want to move your this one, resize it, yes, you can always do that. So maybe I wanted to resize it, so I can resize it like this, so to match to the insights. Or maybe I feel it's so bad, so I don't want this, so I will click on this. I can move it here, I can delete it. So maybe this I'm finding it more interesting. So maybe I can take this data and put this data here. So I'm taking the car theft also here. And if you see here, you have this different layer options. Maybe want to maximize, so when I click on maximize, it maximizes to the complete screen if I wanted, and the rest all whatever is available will be here. This is the other way of representation of your data. If you want to select something, you can come and select it and it will show you the category, because here we are working on the categories. And then if you want a box selection, if you want to drag a box, and if you want to make a selection of the features, yes, you can make a selection of the features. And if you want to zoom to the selection, yes, you can zoom to the selection and find the distribution of the features. If you want to invert selection, you can invert the selection, which means the points which are not highlighted will be highlighted now. And again, click on this zoom to selection, so it will actually show you the complete data if you want. So this is how we create different workbooks, different pages, and then in each page different kinds of cards. Maybe I don't want this and I want it to be uh, like this, so I can actually maximize my data based on the requirements I have. So I can actually keep adding as my data is having. And if I actually go to the crime data, and if I click on this link enable cross filters and enable sync extents. So when I click on the sync extent, so everything is showing me. If I move something here, the extent will keep moving it here as well. And maybe let us suppose if I want to enable cross filters, yes, I can enable cross filters too, depending on the requirement needs. So if you want to create a relationship, yes, you can create relationships. So maybe I want to create a relationship between robbery, car theft, and then drugs, and then crime blocks, and click on finish. So it will load the relationship here, and it will show me the relationship here. So, and then finally we are done with this insight demo. So click here and click on save. And when you go to your this one, content for ArcGIS, and then when you actually refresh your page, you should be able to see your insights for ArcGIS which we have created. So I have created it as insights demo, so I should be able to see the data here, which is insights demo, and which is an insights workbook which I have created, and it is not shared to anyone. Maybe I wanted to access and give the capabilities, so I will have definite groups where I can share the access and update the capabilities. Maybe if I want the open data people to start using my data, I can click on open data. So you can change the group icon has been changed to a shared group. Maybe I like this so much, so I want to add it to my favorite, so I can always do that. And if I wanted to move this data, because I want everything to be organized, so click here, and maybe I want to save the data in this particular folder, click on move. So this is how our insights will work, which will help us to perform various kinds of analysis and then present our data in a more compelling and intuitive way to help our decision makers, to help them understand, to take quick decisions out of our data. So if you want to have any base map, yes, you can have a base map at your images. So I have an imagery. So if you see here, all my maps has been changed to imagery, but which I'm not looking at so good. So I will change it to dark gray canvas. So in the similar fashion, if you want, you can change it. Maybe if you want the background color also to be changed, you can change the background color of these cards also, depending on your requirement. So once you do everything, all you need to do is click on save to save your insights workflow. And so this is my content, and this I will click on share, and I will click on access and update capabilities. I'm sharing it to the end users. Or let me go here, and here also we can have an analysis view of our data, how it is connected. So from where we have taken the data and how is it connected, this is how we see the data. We have aggregated it, we have generated a histogram, we have styled our climb blocks, we have styled our truck cases, we have styled our car theft cases in San Francisco, and we have added the data in robbery cases. So we have filtered the data and then aggregated it, and then showing the data here. So we can actually see how our data has been distributed, and from where we have actually created the data. Once you're fine with everything, then all you need to do is click on save for the data to get refreshed. If at all, if you want to refresh, go to your arcgis.com and then refresh your data. So if you have any queries, you're most welcome to ask me, and I'll be able to answer all your queries. And thank you so much for joining me today.